So good morning, my people, my tribe, my buddies. Missed you last week, traveling. Had crazy, fabulous 10 days. And if you saw my newsletter, the theme of the week was, I pottied. When you've got a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 10-week-old, there's a lot of pottying going on. And there's a lot of watching everyone potty and reading the book, Everyone Poops. Anyway, so we're back, and I'm back in the office, and was trying to think of a topic that might be appropriate, because, my passion is for women to be their best, vital, healthy, strong, sexy selves. And one of the areas that has come up again and again is the new term called inflammaging. So how does inflammation contribute to our aging? And if there was one thing, like if you said, Leslie, just give me one thing to do for my health, my good friend Chelsea would say, get rid of the seed oils. We've got to get rid of what we call subpar fats, canola, safflower sun, margarine, corn oil. Those are seed oils. And we think about, people say, well, isn't corn a vegetable? It's really not, it's a grass. And those are seeds. So all of the cells in your body, so this topic is very important for both brain health and skin health. And all of your cells, the cell walls, are made up of fat. And that's what keeps our cells plump and juicy, lets water in, nutrients in, waste products go out. Hormone communication between cells are all dependent on quality cell walls. So if we consume what I would call those subpar, that's Dr. Hyman's term, subpar fats and oils, the margarine, the canola, the corn oil, Wesson, Crisco. By the way, do you know what Crisco is? We'll talk about it at the end. That's a quiz. Your cells, instead of being plump and fat and juicy, become crispy and oxidized and stiff. And so there's no communication going in and out, no nutrients going in and out, no water coming in and out. And for those of us that were in the 80s, we grew up with low fat, no fat, low fat, no fat. Everything had to be low fat, no fat. Well, and we got scared of butter. And really, we shouldn't be afraid of butter, grass-fed butter. So now we've got these crispy, oxidized cells that reflects itself in our face and our skin, but more importantly, our brain. So as we age, we are concerned about our brain health. And, dementia doesn't just happen overnight. Dementia, being the big umbrella over Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Lewy body, etc., is a long, slow boil. It's a long, slow being wrapped up by the snake. And before long, you're squeezed and you went, oh, where did this snake come from? Where did this... So it's an over time kind of thing. So we need high-quality cell walls from high-quality fats. And I am checking my notes if you see my eyes going back. Good fats also help us produce prostaglandins. Now, that might be a new word for you, but these are, prostaglandins are the hormones that turn off inflammation. So we sometimes also label these good fats omega-3s. You've heard of omega-3, fish oil, omega-6, 9. So traditionally, I'm going to do it this way, in America, hundreds of years ago, we ate food that gave us a ratio of omega-3 to 6, pretty much 1-to-1 or 3-to-1. It was very balanced. But when we introduced post-war, kind of post-World War II, when we introduced seed oils, specifically rapeseed oil, which is in the mustard family. It's canola. That's known as canola oil. And the short link to that is that American housewives didn't want to buy a product called rapeseed oil. So the clever boys in New York, the madmen, admin, said, let's rename it. And it's oil from Canada, so it's canola. So that came around, and housewives and marketing made us all jump on the omega, and those are omega-6s. So now instead of eating 3-to-1 balance like this, where Americans are eating, way too many omega-6s because it's cheap. Everything's fried in it. You know, Burger King, McDonald's, all the fast food chains, Kentucky Fried Chicken, they used to fry things in beef tallow because it tastes good. In fact, those companies now have manufactured chemically the flavor of beef tallow to keep their French fries tasting good. But it's all done in canola, which is inflammatory, which makes your cells crispy and stiff and non-functioning, which is really bad for the brain. So your brain is 65% fat. I tell people, if someone calls you a fathead, take it as a compliment, because yes. And we want healthy cell walls because we want the brain to be able to release the day's waste. That's called autophagy, and bring in the nutrients. So where do we get omega-3s? Well, of course, small cold water fish, sardines, anchovy, herring, halibut, cod, wild-caught salmon, and we've got flax, hemp, walnuts, Brazil nuts, lots of sea vegetables, and we've got, let's see, I'm going to learn this real quick. Salmon, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are all omega-3s, and they help you, again, to produce prostaglandins, which are the hormones that cool off our inflammation, our inflammaging. And omega-3s help us build beautiful, sexy, strong, plump cell walls for both our skin and our brain. So those are the two areas. So now you need to really look at your labels. You know, you pull up your salad dressing, your mayonnaise, any sort of sauces or marinades, look on the labels because it will say canola oil, you know, first off, or corn oil, and we want to avoid those. So what do? Well, we've got some brands out there like Primal Kitchen and Tessemae and others. I know that the Defined Dish is coming out with some new salad dressings. I don't know what she's making in them, but you want to make your own salad dressing when you can, which is, you know, olive oil, a little Dijon mustard, and some vinegar. Or you look at labels very, very carefully to avoid canola oil, which is in everything because it's just so cheap. But remember, canola oil equals aging, crispy skin cells. So I hope that was fun for you today about oils and the oils we want to avoid and the oils we want to put in our diet. Let's go back to the quiz question. What is Crisco? Did you remember seeing that can of Crisco on Grandma's shelf in the pantry? Crisco is actually cottonseed oil. So again, when we were harvesting cotton for fiber, for fabric, it's one of, because it's not a food, it's allowed to be sprayed, pesticide, herbicide, poisons. But in the processing of the cotton ball, we ended up with a lot of oil in the process. And it's interesting, this goes back to the Procter & Gamble and the brothers that patented hydrogenation. Remember the ivory bar soap that would float? Well, they put that process of hydrogenation to soap to make it float, to make it fluffy. Well, they took that same process with cottonseed oil and it became fluffy and thick. Remember, it's like a big scoop? Well, now it's a food product, but no one's ever tested it. No one said, is it good for us? It's an omega-6. It's inflammatory. And not only that, because it had been sprayed with all those chemicals and was using chemicals to create it, we're just poisoning ourselves. But there it was on every shelf in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Crisco. So Crisco was cottonseed oil, which is an omega-6, which is inflammatory. So No more omega-6. Well, we need omega-6s in moderation. And we get that from animal products because it does create inflammation when we need it for like a fever or an injury. But then we need the omega-3s to bring down, to create the prostaglandins so we anti-inflame. Any questions about that? Drop me a line, drop me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you would like to maybe have us talk about next week. Until then, it's Leslie with Redeeming Wellness. Thank you.